Last prompt of week number 1, December 5th, journaling card and tiny letters. Welcome to another episode of Dephemerember, your ephemera inspiration in December, hosted by my dear friend Louise Heinzel and myself. If you've missed any of the previous episodes or are new and are interested in learning more about the details of how to participate and what the hell is going on here, please see the links below in the description box. I'm going to jump right in. I'm excited because I'm doing something I haven't done in a really long time and my fingers are itching. So I'm going to take a piece of cardstock and I'm going to make a mixed media masterboard. Whoop whoop. So let's put this to the side. No, actually let's not. Let's look in here if there are any items that we can use for the masterboard. This, for example, would be great. We could also use parts of this and this. Yep, that's it for this time. So let's start off by adding some of these papers to our background. So in case you're new to these videos, that box where I just took these out of was a gift from my dear friend Louise. And Louise also got a box from me. We sent each other 50 ephemera components plus 3 snacks. And I have a feeling today I'm gonna need a snack. Okay, let me get some more papers. So I have my box here of mostly vintage paper scraps. This would have been great for the prompt that we had on the 2nd, floating pocket and bold numbers. Look at that. I'm telling you, we find all kinds of things that we don't even realize we have if we just look hard enough. This is good. Oh, tiny text. Look at that. Tiny letters. Tiny letters. These are tiny letters. Ha. Interesting. I think that's enough. Should we add some Arabic as well? I think we should. I'm going to use my current favorite glue, Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. And let's just start putting these babies on here. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch this in real time. That would be quite tedious. I'm going to adhere these, of course, so that they overlap with our edge, because in the end I do want a straight edge. As you can see, I have torn these pieces more or less in rectangles. That's just my way of doing it. You do it your way, whatever works for you. And of course, I don't want to see any gaps in between the papers. It's also nice to switch up the direction between the papers. I also love that there's a little bit of color variation here. Also variation of the font, the size of the font, the type of the font. All adds to interest. Of course, I don't know how much of this we'll be seeing at the end, actually, once I'm done with everything I want to add on top. We'll see. I don't know why I haven't done these in so long, because masterboards, I think, are very fun, and they're also super versatile in how you can use them. Love having a piece of Arabic script in here. I should ask my hubby for more Arabic newspapers, but actually I don't want a piece of newspaper. This is from a newspaper, because what is in a newspaper? It's usually bad news, right? I don't want that energy in my projects. I think I'll have to get him to bring me some more books. Arabic books would be nice. And while I have you here, please do let me know in the comments below, how are you enjoying Dephemerember 2025 so far? Do you like the changes that Louise and I have made? because of course we always try to improve every year and try to keep it interesting, both for your sake and for our sake, of course. And obviously we're never going to make everybody happy with our choices. That is impossible. So we try to stick to what we will enjoy doing, because there's a lot of videos that we're making with our ideas. But of course, we hope that you enjoy what we've come up with, because what's the point otherwise if you don't join us, right? I'm just really realizing I should have actually just used matte medium, which is I think what I usually do. See, it's been too long since I've made a masterboard. This is taking, I think, a lot longer because I'm doing it this way. Plus, they need a coat on top anyway. So, oh, Barbara. It's so typical, isn't it? This is what happens when you don't really plan too far ahead, which I don't seem to be capable of doing. I have to keep reminding myself to turn things around, not to have it all facing towards me. So this one is upside down now. And I think also usually I would go from the outside first, like kind of make a frame, and then go in. For some reason, I'm working this way today, but it's totally fine. I have a lot of these green pieces in here, especially surprising that, given that green is so not my color. But this is a nice one. This is not a dark green, not an in-your-face green. I can live with this one. This is so calming and therapeutic. I think I could do this all day long. This is one of the things you can do when you don't really feel, oops, let's not cover that ear completely. One of the things you can do when you don't really feel the mojo, and then just maybe watch something or listen to something while you're doing this, and that would totally calm you down. And you would feel productive, like you've done something. Oh, those two colors are too close to each other. Let's not do that. That also does not work, and I'm totally overthinking. Oh dear. I think I'm going to need some more book pages or something lighter to mix it up. Okay, so I brought some more ledger pieces, which are kind of gray. And then I also have this one. This one is very dear to me. This one was a copy of a notebook that I used to make my brother's memory book for his 60th birthday, and this is when he learned how to write. It's so cute. So I guess he must have been 6 or something. How cute is that? How cute to have something like this in a project. Oh look, and this says December in German, Dezember. So cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have a gap here. Houston, we have a problem. We have a gap. I'm so curious to see if Louisa is also going to start off with a masterboard. Don't tell me if you've seen her video for today. Don't tell me. Okay, the last piece. Yay. I feel like I deserve a snack. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure I do for some reason. So I haven't tried these yet. This is the third type of snack I'm trying, which Louisa sent me. I think these are Spanish. And Louisa warned me, maybe we should take this off. She said if I open this, or if I bite into it, it's going to completely crumble all over my desk. So I have to first squish it. Oh, it is very squishable. Maybe I should have opened it first so that we see what it looks like. Okay, we can still do that with another one. Let's just unwrap it and see what they look like, because I have no idea. Okay. That looks super interesting. And oh, yeah, I see it's happening. Okay, let's wrap this again before it becomes a bigger problem. Oh, I already like the smell. Okay, so we're pressing it so that it won't crumble. I've never done that to a candy or to a sweet. This is very interesting. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, look at that. Now we have like a pancake. But look, it doesn't crumble. Oh, that was so smart. I'm so glad, Louisa, that you told me this. We're going in. Let's try a piece of this. This tastes so weird. It's quite sweet. It has these more like crunchy bits. I don't know if that's caramel or nut. I can't tell. I think it's probably nut. It's so weird. I cannot even describe the taste. I mean, it's good. It reminds me kind of the taste of a Christmas cookie, actually, which is perfect. I like it. It also kind of tastes a little bit maybe like marzipan. Are there almonds? Yeah, no wonder. It's almond crumble cake. Totally makes sense that it tastes a bit like marzipan, which I usually do not like at all. But this is really good. Thank you so much, Louisa. Yum. I'm so happy I have more carbs in my diet now. I can eat stuff like this. Perfect timing. Obviously, we're keeping this also. So with fresh energy, let's get back to this. Let's make sure the camera is on. If you know, you know. Let's trim down all of the excess here along the edges. This is such a satisfying part of the project. Do you know this feeling? To no surprise, we're going to add a light coat of white gesso to, first of all, seal it all in, and second of all, to homogenize. Is that the word? Homogenize? To make them all even. So I'm going to use this spatula thing, because with that I can spread it quite thinly. You can also use a brush, a brayer. Don't really want an even coat. Why am I not putting it straight on the masterboard? Who knows? I don't. Let's just do that. Why am I making my life so complicated? So I think this is dry enough to continue. I'm going to use this stencil to create a resist effect. This stencil is sold by PM Artist Studio. It's called Aqueous Effervescence. This one is actually the small pattern. The large pattern has bigger holes, but this is a small one. I will link this for you below this video. Let's do it this way and then this way. And I don't need the whole thing covered. I'm going to use clear embossing powder for my resist. If you don't have a clear embossing powder, you could also do it with a glaze. But if you have neither, you could try something like a gel medium. For example, I have this heavy gel medium by Amsterdam, which turns clear when it's dry. The difference is that this is instant because I can just heat it up and it's done, and this needs to dry. And with the gel, there's glossy gel, there's matte gel, so you can do whatever look you want. I'll be using my Distress Embossing Dabber by Ranger and just dab here. As I said, I don't want the whole thing to be covered. I don't think I've ever tried this before. Okay, let's first do these. Ooh, you can't see. Oh yeah, you can see it a little bit. And then we'll do the other side separately. I hope it was dry enough. Actually, I'm just thinking now, this could create a mess. No, it seems to be okay. Yep. Okay, one side is done. You can see it kind of looks like it's wet in some parts. I'll do the same thing on this other side. Of course, you could also stamp instead of stenciling if you want a resist effect. So for the next step, you know, when my gloves are on, we're gonna get a little bit messy. And I'm wondering now whether I should have done the embossing with a white embossing powder rather than the clear one, because I think the effect would have been better. But we're gonna work with what we have now. So next I'm going to use some sprays. I have a mixture here of oxide sprays, spray stains, and an eye zinc dye spray. So I'm sticking to neutrals more or less. This is not quite as neutral, but yeah, all of these colors are neutrals. And of course we're gonna need some water. So I'll start off by misting this. As usual, I'm going to start with lighter colors. If you don't have sprays, you can definitely also do some blending with some blending brushes and your distress inks or oxides. That is a very well-known technique, lots of tutorials. Then let's go in with Lost Shadow spray stain. So the spray stains are always more intense than the oxides. So even if you get the same color in an oxide and a spray stain, your spray stain is going to have a lot more pigment. Then let's give it some warmth with some frayed burlap. And finally, we'll add some honey to give it more warmth. And you see the design here? That is pretty cool. Do I even want to spray this? Actually, I don't need to spray it anymore. I'm loving this. I just want it all to move a little bit. I think this is good to go. I'm going to dry this. So while I'm drying this, I'm going to take a damp baby wipe and dab here where the embossing glaze is, because I don't want any ink there. Just have to be careful not to do it when it's hot, because then the embossing glaze is sticky again, obviously. I think I'll do the rest when it's completely dry. But I would say the star of these inks was definitely the Honey by Seth Apter, because that gave it this beautiful warm tone, which I'm loving. Kind of a rusty color. Okay, let's see if we can get this off. You see, I don't want it here on the surface because that's not gonna stay. That is not permanent. Let's take another clean one. But it's tricky because while rubbing this, obviously I'm also rubbing the ink that's around it. That's always the issue I have using resist techniques. And if there's a trick to this, please let me know. Let's try a dry paper towel. Yeah, but that also smears. I don't know if there's a better way. You see all that coming off? I mean, I think it works better with the dry paper towel, but it's still not ideal. Yeah, definitely better with the dry one. So we still need to add some tiny letters, although there's plenty of tiny letters already underneath here. Let's add some more. So I have these stamps here. These are Ephemera. Not these are Tim Holtz, but these here are Ephemera. I have no idea what this set is called. I've had it forever and ever. And it just has simple words like listen, soulful, just create, breathe. And then it also has some, oh, there's another postage, like carte postale. I could have used that for the last prompt. Oh well. Then like your story matters, cut and paste, look for the magic, take your time. So these are really tiny, I would say. And I'm going to stamp these all over, but not going over my embossed area. I actually don't know if that would be permanent on that surface. I do plan on using this black archival ink to make the words stand out. Okay, I'll start with some of the sentiments. So this one says, your story matters. Pushed a bit too hard. So I'll be stamping this just in different directions, different areas. This next one says less perfection and more authenticity. This next one says cut and paste. Next, let's do Soulful. Then there's Breathe. And lastly, we will do Listen. So I'm very happy with this. I think it has a lot of interest. And actually, I'm really happy. I didn't use white embossing powder because look, all of this is coming through the clear embossing powder. We wouldn't see any of this if I had used white embossing powder. So good job, Barbara. Oh, I didn't even realize I stamped right over the embossing powder here. I did not plan that. Obviously, I didn't see it. Should we see if it rubs off? I'm scared. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, yay. So I could have actually stamped more over these parts, but actually I'm fine with how it looks now. And since obviously the back side looks like crap, as always, when we work with mixed media, I'm just going to glue another piece of that same cardstock to the back side so that we have a nice clean back. And to do that, I'm going to use my Beacon 3-in-1 glue because this will just go so much faster than using the Arlie, what is it called? Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. Because with that fine nib, and I know I actually have other nibs for it, I'm too lazy to exchange them. I'll just do it like this. But since we're cutting this board apart, we need to make sure that everything is adhered well. Don't want the cards to fall apart, so I'm adding quite a lot of glue. And then I'm going to set a heavy book on top to first of all let that glue dry, and second of all to really flatten down my pieces before we continue. So it's been a few hours. Let's take off the heavy book. This is beautifully flat. I love that. And I love this background. I am very tempted to cut this from this side so that we get more random pieces. But because of these sentiments, I don't think I want to do that, because if I cut right through one, I mean, I'm gonna have to cut through them because there's no way I can cut them all without cutting through any, but I want at least some of them. Let's just do it. Barbara, stop your perfectionism. Just do it. Okay. Talked myself into it. I don't have any plan of how many I want. Okay, what did we do? How bad is the damage? This one is fine. Love it, actually. Wow. It's amazing how pieces transform when you cut them into smaller pieces. Yeah, over and over again, this is mind-blowing. If you've never made one, please make one. Perfect. All the sentiments are here. Love it. And I love how different the pieces look. Yep, that totally worked. This one's cut, but who cares, right? Who cares? Yep. I am so happy I did that. Beautiful. This one's a bit boring, I don't know, because it has a lot of this plainer area, but you know, you can always enhance it. This one I love. Yes, great decision to do that. I want the edges to be really grungy, so I'm going to take my ground espresso and use the ink pad directly on my card. Try to get like a really grungy, uneven, distressed edge. You can also do this with crayons or markers. Yeah, I like this look. Look at the, let's see the difference. Yeah, that frame I think is super important. And I think I will cut this edge off here. I don't like that. We should probably also ink it up from the back. And also I don't like, do you see there's a line here? I don't know how well you can see that. Probably just get over it. Fine, let's not do anything. Okay, so I'll be inking up all of these pieces just like this, because this works really well. It's giving me the distressed look I want. It's giving me a nice, bold, dark edge. And we'll do the back as well. So with this masterboard, I have the feeling for the first time in this series, so this is our 4th episode, that I'm actually embracing compartmental making. I didn't really have that feeling so much in the first 3 episodes. Well, one of the ones I kind of messed up completely. The floating pocket one. That was not a mass making. That was a, yeah, I don't know what that was. But this really feels like it, and I see the advantage of doing it like this. I saw an Instagram post recently. The topic was perfectionism in art, and it said that, look at how dirty these are. What? And it said that we are perfectionists because of fear. The fear of making a mistake. And I was thinking a lot about that. I don't know if that's true. I mean, to some degree, I can agree with it. Yeah, I guess you're afraid of ruining your piece that you've probably put a lot of work in, and then, you know, you don't want to mess it up. Yeah, that is fear. I will have to agree with that. Let me know your thoughts on that. Why do we need to get it just right? Why? Are we afraid of being judged, either by others or ourselves? It's not perfect. I am really doing my best to let go of the perfectionism and just enjoy more being in the moment, playing with abandon, you know? Just enjoy the creative part, and if the result is not perfect, who cares? You still had fun making it, hopefully. And if we take that thought further, the question for me is it more important that the end result is a certain way, or is the process of making it for an artist more important? And not be so focused on the end result, you know what I mean? Because why are we doing this? Because we enjoy it, right? It's not to have a finished journal. It's because we enjoy the creative process. Would you agree? And would you also agree that we should add a little bit of gold to the edges? What do you think? I'm going to try this gold. I'm assuming it's acrylic. Everything here is in Japanese. If you can read it, maybe you can let me know what this is exactly. I'm assuming it's acrylic paint. So let's put some on our mat. I don't want to cover all of my ground espresso, obviously. Ooh, just a hint. I don't want to go overboard. We know how that usually ends, right? Yes, I love it. Do they all need it? I don't know. Maybe. Can you stop once you started? Probably not. I love especially the distressed bits like this, you see? Ooh, so nice. Yep, I can already see I'm not going to be able to stop. I want really like uneven lines. So tell me, if you are also someone who is not used to do compartmental making, was it difficult for you in the first few prompts to get into the zone? Are you into the zone? Is it just me who's had struggles with this? But in the best way, because this is such a great learning curve for me. I wonder if I'm going to keep doing this in the future for future journals. It might just be that I really see more positives than negatives. The reason why I was never into this mass making or compartmental making is because, first of all, I don't really enjoy the process of doing the same thing over and over again. I'd rather concentrate on individual pieces. But I'm really enjoying this, I have to say. And also, I'm thinking if I make random pieces, then I have the feeling I'm making a lot of pieces that then probably won't fit anywhere because each of my journals is so different. If they all had a similar style, yeah, great. That would totally work. Or if you're mass making journals, it makes so much sense. But the way I make my journals, each one is very specific and very individual. It just never made sense for me. But this might change my mind. Who knows? I was just going to clean this off, but now I'm thinking we have it here. Let's not waste it. Let's add some gold splatters because who doesn't love gold splatters? Hello? Yeah, it's very subtle. Yeah, it's definitely acrylic paint. I can see that when I add the water, that the water stays on top. You see the difference between this and this? That's definitely acrylic paint. But there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this with watercolor. Okay, so I want to be fully transparent with you. The reason I'm currently really struggling finishing some of these pieces because it would be great to decorate at least one of them so you could see what a finished piece would look like. I haven't done that for the others. Well, the page tabs. Okay, the page tabs are done. But the other two prompts, I was not able to make a finished card or whatever it was because I don't know where these are gonna go. So in the meantime, I've made the decision I want to put at least some of these pieces into my recent mixed media junk journal where I had a mini series right before starting Dephemerember. But I'm actually filming that series and Dephemerember videos parallel, meaning that you will have seen, if you have watched that series, that journal already bound and all the pages in. But in my real life, this is not the case. In my real life, this is still the state of the journal. So I have all the pages, all the fabric. My cover is done, but I don't have a finished journal yet. And this would not be a problem if I at least knew the theme of the journal. And I do not. In my mind, I have three options, and I just can't seem to make that decision. Number one is adding more photos of my parents, but I already have a book with the story of my parents. So that's probably not the wisest thing. The second option is to document my fitness and health journey, which seems really appealing to me, but I don't know if that works with the grunge I have going on here. That would make it super meaningful. And the third option is to just pick a generic theme like, I don't know, nature, birds, whatever. That would make it super easy, but not very meaningful. And I'm leaning more towards it needs to be meaningful for me. So, okay, I think I just made my decision. It's so helpful to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for listening. It really puts things into perspective once you speak some things out loud, you know? There's a difference between them floating in your mind and speaking them out loud, because then you realize that some things don't really make sense. Or you knew the answer, but for some reason you just couldn't make that decision. Okay, so that means I just made the decision now that this is going to be a journal for my personal health journey. Do I make all the photos black and white? Maybe that I'm putting in here. Yeah, that would work. That might be the solution. Let's do that. So I'm back after a total meltdown. I'm not kidding. It took me about 45 minutes now to print this out. The printer kept telling me that the paper size didn't match. The one that was in my computer did not match the one I had in my printer, which was a complete lie. They were both A4. I tried printing this, I think, about 10 times until I tried printing it not from the drawer, but from the rear tray. And then it worked all of a sudden, although I didn't change anything about the paper size. So my nerves are completely shot. I need a piece of candy. I'm so happy Louisa and I had this idea because this is when I need this now. So these are beautiful strawberry rice cakes. Yum. And this jelly is hard, which is great. They're so good. I seriously had a meltdown. Like, I started crying. I was so frustrated. I think you can still hear it in my voice. Not over it. These challenges always come when you just want to get a video done, and then nope. Universe has other plans. You need to deal with technical crap. Let's get back to being in a good mood. So all of these photos are things that I've posted in my Instagram stories about my transformation. And I think for today I need this one because this is kind of what I felt like now. I posted this mid-November, and the story behind this one is, this is a photo I took in front of the mirror in the changing room at the gym. And it was a day where I actually did not want to train. And my coach was like, you're not sick, you're going to train. And if you don't have enough energy to do strength training, then you stop and at least you do some cardio, but you don't just skip the gym day. And I was really happy that he said that. Actually, probably by the evening, I would have felt so bad if I wouldn't have gone. So I'm so happy that he pushed me in that moment because I was able to do it. It was just that I didn't have enough sleep. I had been to the One Republic concert the night before, and my body just wasn't feeling it. I felt weak and low energy. The hardest part, I think, is getting yourself out the door. I have a beautiful 25-minute walk to the gym, and by the time I'm there, I'm in the zone and I get ambitious and I, of course, give it my best. So this is what this photo represents. I was there, I got changed, and then I'm like, let's do this, you know, like full power, even though I wasn't feeling it. But I was like, I'm going to give it my best. I'm here. So I love the story behind this. And I'll put the story on the back of the card. I don't know yet if I want a white edge or not. The hardest thing about leaving a white edge on a photo is to make the edge even all the way around. See, that is not even, Barbara. Okay, I think this is good enough. Okay, so on which one do we put this? This is too narrow. So is this. These are too wide. These would work. I think I wanted to have more space around than on this one. So it's one of these two. What does it say? Less perfection, more authenticity. Breathe. On this one, we're covering both of these, and it says, your story matters. Ooh, if I turn it around and put it like this, we could see the your story matters. Even though it's, you know, it's very off. Well, I could center it actually. Let's do that. Definitely want to write the date on this. So I'm going to take one of these white acrylic paints. What am I saying? Markers. So I just rummaged through my basket and found some things that maybe we want to add for a little more decoration. I mean, I kind of also just like it like this, but maybe I like it even more when we add more decoration to it. For example, if I add this one, I would definitely cut off the top and the bottom. That was a little too much, but yeah, you get the idea. Could be interesting. Or one of these. So these I did in another video quite a while ago. If I can figure out which one it was, I will link it for you below. Because these pieces are really fun. Ooh, that's cute. If we cut this off, yep, I could see that. Or something like this. Oh, I actually like the leaf because it's November. All of the trees are losing their last leaves. Maybe another one up here, a smaller one on the diagonal. Oh, that's cute. Oh, I like the red in there. If we cut it off here, I might even like that better. Oh, I just realized it says listen here, which is perfect because I was supposed to listen to my coach. I like that a lot. So everything is glued down. And lastly, I want to add some white paint splatters. Actually, we covered almost all of the gold ones. So there's a few here, I guess. So let's cover up the important parts that we don't want to cover with white splatters, which is this sentiment, our date, the listen, and my warrior face. Okay, and I'll try to do that with this acrylic marker. I just realized I should have only done the splatters where the leaves are. It kind of makes no sense that they're on me. It looks like it's snowing inside the gym. Oh well, we're gonna go with it now. So I will document this story on the back, which is actually just as crappy as it was before we backed it. We now just have very thick cards. That is the result. Yep, they're as bad as they were. I don't know what the point was of putting on a clean back anyway. Oh wow, I have a feeling this was quite the journey today. Journaling card and tiny letters. Wow, we finished week 1 of Dephemerember. Can you believe it? And for me, the best part is to put all our treasures in our box, which is filling up. Yay! How fun. I hope your boxes or drawers or wherever you're putting yours are filling up as well. This is super fun. So enjoy your weekend, no matter if you're catching up or just taking a break or doing your own thing. I'll see you back here on Monday, December 8th for snippets and grandma's buttons. But first, if you haven't watched Louise's video, let's go watch that together. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.